What is happening there, Gamer Dude here, and this time around I'm going to be talking about Call of Duty, something that I don't really talk much about on my own channel because it's not a series that interests me, but every now and again I do get the urge to want to play a first-person shooter, and so if I want to play through a campaign, yeah, Call of Duty is going to be there every single year whether we like it or not, so that's kind of an interesting thing to kind of have a look at, but I'm actually looking at some of the reviews on Metacritic. Even though it says TBD for the actual Metascore, there are still some actual reviews that have been aggregated on the site. I want to have a look at that, and then afterwards I was actually going to talk about how Activision has fumbled the bag so very hard when it comes to the trophies for Modern Warfare 3, because if it wasn't enough for me to kind of talk about trophies, I want to talk about how you should never ever do trophies for the new release of a game, and I'll get into that in a mo. But I was kind of like looking through some of the reviews here, and of course IGN had a pretty insane write up here saying Modern Warfare 3's campaign commits the biggest sin possible for a globe-trotting action thriller, that it's boring. That's pretty scathing, to be completely honest, for like a Call of Duty game to be boring of all things. Spun web of mysteries. Oh, the wording really hurts here. What had the promise to be an intriguingly spun web of mystery ends up being a dusty cobweb you'd find at the back of your shed. Got the writing on display right here. There's something on here. Cling onto 15-year-old garden toys you once had fun with. If you have a garden shed, you'll know all about what it's like to actually have cobwebs back there. It's a pale imitation, especially if it's 15 years, Jesus. It's a pale imitation of the past, made up of underbaked story moments that clash with attempts to introduce new open combat missions designed to encourage player freedom that instead falls flat on their face. The sort of open combat missions and things like that apparently are all just really stuff you'd expect to find in like a Warzone map in terms of like objective markers and things like that. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. But this is just purely based on the campaign, which IGN gave a 40 or a 4 out of 10. Going down a little bit further, we've got Games Radar, which gave it, well, didn't really give it a score, but Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 has a strangely bland campaign that has its moments but feels rushed and somewhat forced. And you might be thinking, well, since only the campaign is available, why would anyone ever want to play the Call of Duty campaign? And it kind of then falls into that weird dichotomy of like, that's kind of what I would do. So myself as like a player, I don't like playing Call of Duty for the multiplayer. I only like playing it, if at all, just for the single player, if I have the urge to want to, you know, do some shooty bang bangs in a video game, you know? Like, that's just what it kind of comes down to. Playing with other people, overrated, I say. If a game can't stand up on its own without, you know, being played with other people, you've kind of failed. That's why I really did not like Destiny, or why I thought, you know, Destiny hated me as the kind of player that I was, as someone who just kind of played by themselves. But I suppose that's also kind of the nature of being a trophy hunter, is you normally play by yourself anyways. But I digress. Moving on from that, GameSpot. Although its narrative setup is enjoyable, Modern Warfare 3 can't get out of its own way, with nearly half of the missions being underwhelming open combat style. The bumpy pacing and abrupt ending make Makarov's big return a disappointment, dragging Modern Warfare 3 down as the weakest entry of an otherwise strong reboot series. They give it a 5 out of 10. Okay. So, not bad, but just saying that it is okay, because I feel like gameplay and visuals can only be so much of a game's pedigree. GamePro Germany, let's just kind of read it, I guess. With a well-known villain and more open missions, Sledgehammer Games wants to make Modern Warfare 3's solo mode appealing to us, but we enjoyed almost nothing in the campaign. That is rough wording right there. Sold as a pre-order bonus, and given about as much thought, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3's single-player offering is a short, shallow waste of time that feels like a video game and more of a contractual obligation. Oof. And every.it says, despite a couple of exciting missions and solid gunplay, Sure. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3's campaign is a disappointment. Never before has the story missed the mark, and among the main causes we find the duration, the absence of truly spectacular moments, and the massive pressure of freer missions that don't work as they should. However, the single-player campaign is only one of the contents present in the package, and to express a definitive opinion it will be necessary to play the multiplayer and zombies in depth as well. I can't help but think that the multiplayer and zombies are gonna just bring it up because the campaign just feels like so much more of like a letdown. That's the general consensus that I feel like might be the case, but you know, to each their own. Now, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 was originally supposed to be like sort of some expansion to Modern Warfare 2, and it didn't feel that way. But then when you look at the fact that the campaign can be beaten in 3 to 5 hours, and this coming from like say other streamers or other people that I watch on YouTube like Moist Critical, so Charlie for example, he played through the campaign, beat it in like 3 hours, well 3 and a bit hours. But a Call of Duty campaign is usually never this short. It's at least 5 to 7, if not 7 to 10 hours at most, and even then that's still like at least a mildly enjoyable time. 3 hours seems almost insultingly short. But what I wanted to talk about now in relation to the game's trophies is that Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 has its own trophy list sitting at 40 trophies for the PS4 version, but the PS5 version of the game does something unforgivable, I would say, which is it has its entire trophy list for Modern Warfare 3 as a DLC to Modern Warfare 2, almost like as if it feels like it's a confirmation that this was in fact supposed to be a DLC and not a full-fledged title. And you might be thinking to yourself, look, it's just trophies, like what's the big deal? And the massive deal about this is that every game that releases that is a massive title that is usually pretty expensive generally has its own platinum trophy. And the thing is that if you add an entire game's worth of trophies as a DLC to a game, the DLC component of that trophy list will never be given a platinum trophy. There are games that give you multiple trophy lists, like the Crash games, like the Crash trilogy or the Spyro trilogy. When you boot it up, rather than getting one list with 3 different lots of trophies, you get 3 different lists, each with its own platinum trophy. So the fact that like the PS4 version gets its own trophy list, it does have a platinum totaling at 40 trophies, whereas the Modern Warfare 3 DLC list on Modern Warfare 2 does not. And also it's worth noting that you only get about 1035 points, so these points result in how much your trophy level goes up. The more points, obviously, the higher it goes. And generally, games with platinums tend to have around 1,200-ish points to 1,300 points. And any more than that, it's usually because of DLC that's been booted up higher. And games that don't have, pretty much each... like for each bronze you get like maybe 30 points. For each silver you might get like 60 points. For every gold you might get like 120 to 150 points. That's just kind of how it works. I don't know the exact numbers, but if I did the math I could probably figure that out. Now 1035 points for Modern Warfare 3, and let's see what the actual list gives. 1335 for Modern Warfare 3 on PS4. So that single additional trophy being specifically the platinum, 1335. So the platinum trophy alone awards you 300 points. Yeah, I don't know, man. This yeah, I do not like the idea of this, where like lately there have been games that have had more than 20 trophies, because that's usually been the limit for games without a platinum. Normally they'll have up to a maximum of 20, not including DLC, and have about 600 points. 600 or 300, something like that. And then obviously that would be the limit for a game that has no platinum. But games have started getting more trophies, more golds, but not having a platinum, like having 39 trophies and not a platinum. For Modern Warfare 3 to be added as DLC to Modern Warfare 2 feels almost insulting to the existence of Modern Warfare 3. And the fact that it doesn't feel like as if it's a fully boxed product, even though it kind of is. Because it is a box on the shelf. And I'm pretty I don't know if the physical copy actually gives you both the PS4 and 5 versions, but a lot of trophy hunters are opting to play the PS4 version over the PS5 version, because it does have a platinum. And for people who are completionists, they are looking at this very much in a negative manner. It is starting to add sort of precedence, a decent amount of precedents that we shouldn't really be seeing in the trophy space. So I feel like if the achievement system on Xbox seems messed up, then they're kind of messing around with the actual trophy system here on PlayStation. Who knows what that is? Who knows why? I mean, there are other games that do this, like the Legend of Thieves collection, where the Uncharted 4 trophies has a platinum, but the Lost Legacy trophies are added as DLC, which is rather unfortunate, and I kind of wish we never saw that again, but here we have another example. So there are other games out there with similar examples, so it feels like Modern Warfare 3 was not thought about particularly highly. It doesn't seem like it was it doesn't feel like people are doing what they should, could, or would be with regards to it. And just to provide a little bit of context trophy-wise regarding the PS4 and 5 versions, the PS5 version has vague changes to the actual trophy list rules that does not apply to the PS4 list, which is probably why the PS4 version got its own list, whereas like the Legacy of Thieves collection, for example, can have an entire game's trophy list as its DLC, as it does here, or that you can only have a certain number of points before you need an additional list for PS4 games, where you have so many DLCs that eventually you're kind of capped out at a particular number of points for that list. Whereas in the PS5 version, there are games that have 200 to 220 trophies in a single list, and they probably allow for significantly more points. I don't know, the rules are vague, they're all up in the air, so we can't really confirm for sure, but this is kind of just what I've seen, especially with games like Train Sim World 3 and all of that stuff. So let me know what you guys thought about Modern Warfare 3 if you've played it. I do have an interest in playing it, but I won't do that until it goes on sale, and even if I do, most likely I'll end up picking up the PS4 version. But with all that said and done, let me know about what you guys think about Modern Warfare 3, whether it be the games, the reviews, or the trophies, which there's going to be very few of. Like the video if you liked it, and yeah, subscribe to the channel, aiming for those 100 subs by the end of the year. And I do want my videos to go out to more people, but with all that said and done, I do upload every day, so I'll see you guys tomorrow.